What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bobby with Gator Game Podcast, and I'm here with my boy Lucas. After this game against Florida, going on the road to Kentucky. Before we get into all of that, make
Yeah,
sure you guys like this, comment on this, and share this because we need to get this out there, and we need to talk about this game because this was a game that going on the road to Kentucky, one that Florida should not have lost, and especially not have lost the way that it did. Lucas, how are you
yeah.
feeling tonight?
I'm really pissed off because as you said, we were talking about we have more penalty yards than actual points scored.
Yeah, yeah, and we're gonna get into that because that's something that the Gator standard is a whole lot higher than the way it was being shown Saturday night. Um, I, it was a poor performance on the coaches, poor performance on the players, on the execution, the lack of effort, the lack of changes. I don't like what I'm seeing when certain players are doing really good, and we're gonna get into all that and more. But I'm gonna start with I'm gonna start with the game. You know, with the fact that I think overall Emory Jones did good. I think Emory Jones managed the night for the most part. But the one thing about Emory Jones that he's still having the problem with is during the critical moments, he wants to stare down the receiver, whoever his first
Oh
read
no!
is.
I don't
And
mean to cut you off there, buddy, but on the last drive, he had a guy clear wide open in the end zone, didn't take the shot. That would have tied the game.
yeah, so we can't be having things like that happen. This is what three years under Dan Mullen. With Emory, and he should be way better than this. He should know what to do in these situations. He should know that he's got to get this ball out and get it out quick, fast, and in a hurry, and not wait so long. Because when you wait too long, the defender is going to be right there. But I think overall Emory did okay. Um, I mean, he had the touchdown and he had the interception. The interception was horrible. It was a bad read. Just one of his
They were right to the guy.
mistakes that he's known for doing. Um, but another thing that I want to get into, and I'm going to ask you this: how do you feel about the running back room, and with the fact that Damian Pierce had 4 carries and over 50 yards by halftime? Um, and they really don't lean on him.
I lean on the hot guy, and he was the hot guy the first half. I don't understand Dan sometimes, but like I said this on Twitter, he's my coach until he isn't, so I'm still gonna support him. But
Oh, well, I'm going to support him too, but I'm going to use something that he says all the time when he talks about reps. The better you play, the more reps you get. Well, if you're playing pretty good, why aren't you getting more reps in the game? I mean,
good
when
point there,
you're when
buddy.
you're when you have an average over 10 yards a carry on 4 attempts, I mean, by halftime, I think come that second half, okay, Damian Pierce, you got the hot hand. We're gonna feed you. We're gonna feed you more. He only seen 4 more touches the rest of the night.
That's what that's what they should have done. But that's why we're that's why I hate couch coaches. But
Yeah, we know what we could have done, what we should have done. Talking about it now, but I think that just seems to be one of Dan Mullen's problems, and I understand he likes to rotate the running backs in there, but when the game is on the line, and there's a need for getting points and getting yards and kind of creating some separation in this game, go with the hot hand. If it happens to be Emory Jones, or in this case, it happened to be Damian Pierce, who seemed to be that kind of that runner. And
I don't know. I
if
don't
he
know
would
if
have
you.
played him more, he might have had one of those explosive runs like Kentucky had.
Yeah, but another thing that really pisses me off is why did you not go? Why did you not try to score at the end of the first half?
Yeah,
That
and that's another thing that comes down to the coaches because you have a minute 56 left on the clock. You're at the
All three
13-yard
timeouts.
line, and you got all three timeouts, and you could be going down the field and at least trying to get a field goal. You're only up by 3. You need more points, than that. At least a field goal makes it a 6-point game. So that's something that we got to be more aggressive. And usually Dan Mullen is more aggressive, and he'll want to use situational football, and say, hey, this is a 2-minute drive right here. Let's try to get some points out of this. I mean, his excuse was that, the way things were going and the playing, he just felt it was better to just get in halftime. And I could agree with that if you had more of a lead and you're having problems, but you're on the road in a tough game and you need all the points you can get. And I
Yeah,
just
and
feel
it
like
kind
he
of
should have
backfired because we lost by what, 6, 7?
yeah. So we lost by 7. So we needed points right there, because that could have later on in the game been different. Also, another thing, it wasn't like you get the ball after halftime. Kentucky got the ball after half. So it's not like you get a 2-1 where you can say, okay, we're going into halftime, we're going to correct this, and then we're going to get the ball after half, and then do something with it.
That's not what happened. I mean,
That's not what happened at all. But that seems to be the problem of the night. Another problem with the night, which I'm really disappointed in, is the penalties that the offense
we
had.
have, to put this in perspective, guys, we have more penalties than we have points.
Exactly. We had 15 penalties for 115 yards and and only 13 points. The Gator standard is a whole lot higher than that, and the ceiling for Dan Mullen, has he reached it, or is he just having one of those games that he seems to have every year, to where he loses a game that
Well,
he
he should.
probably should have won. So it comes with what it is. But
I
I
said
mean,
this. If we could go 9-3 in a rebuilding year, I would take that.
but that's the thing. This isn't a rebuilding year. This is a year that you actually have your players and you've been coaching them, and this is your talent, and you should be closing the gap on everybody.
This
And it,
is your.
it
This
looks
is
to
your
me like
guys.
you're closing the gap.
95% of the roster is your guys, and you.
Exactly. And you should be doing a whole lot better than this. Year 4, 8 penalties on the offense.
8
On
false starts. God,
Yeah,
8
eight
false
false
starts.
starts, and then you get down there. I know I'm everywhere. I know I'm everywhere, but I'm hurt. I'm disappointed by this loss because it's one that we should have won. It's a game that we should have came out of there with the win, because it wasn't going anywhere good.
It
Um,
wasn't. It
the block
wasn't like
field
it
goal for the
wasn't
touchdown.
like we're going to LSU in 2 weeks. I mean, oh wait,
Exactly.
we are. Oh wait, that's a. Oh wait, we are. That's a pretty
Yeah,
good.
yeah, and that's another thing. If this 60,000 crowd affected Florida the way that Kentucky's crowd did, I can only imagine Death Valley in LSU in two
I'm glad.
weeks.
I'm glad. That's one. That's one game. I'm glad it's a nooner.
That is one reason why I am glad it's a noon game. Usually, I don't like the noon games because they are early, but this particular game, I'm okay with it being a nooner, and I'm going to take it and I'm gonna ride with it.
Because
So
I can only imagine if they were all looking up before.
right. So I mean, this game you can look at this game in a multitude of ways. But check
And by
out
the
this.
way, did you see the uniforms we're gonna be wearing for Vanderbilt?
Yes, I did. But check this out, Lucas. If I were to tell you that Dan Mullen would be 3-5 in his last 8 games, his only wins being FAU, USF, and Tennessee,
I would have said you're lying.
you would have said I'm lying. At any point, and I know this goes in from the end of last year to the beginning of this year with that record, of the 3-5. But at any point of an 8 game stretch, if I told you Dan Mullen was going to go 3-5, and there's going to be 2 games in those 5 games that he should have won for sure.
LSU last year,
right?
and then
And
Saturday,
Kentucky,
which
yeah. So these are two games that we should have won because there's no reason to lose. I mean,
If
we can go
Michael
back.
doesn't throw that shoe, we get the ball back and we win. That's one.
That's one. Texas A&M with the fumble. That's a game that we could have that we could have won as well. So we Dan Mullen's had some games where there's a question mark beside of why you lost that game and why you let it get to where you let it get to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But let's get into this. Is
Unfortunately,
special teams a concern for Florida?
it is for me, and I'll tell you why. In the past, Dan Mullen has always. In the past, Dan Mullen has always what's the word has always put an emphasis on special teams. And this
Mm-hmm.
year, he seems not. He seems not as much.
I would agree with that. I don't think the emphasis on the special teams is there. I mean, David Water said it in his podcast on Gators Breakdown that we don't have really a threat on special teams. We don't have a threat to run it
Like
back on
we
you.
don't have a Brandon James guy who can
We don't have a Brandon James. We don't have um,
Percy.
a Jarvis Moss to block a field goal. We don't have nothing on special teams on either side of the ball.
We don't have a
Um,
Jacquez Green guy who
yeah,
can.
we don't have any type of threat. So that's concerning to me because special teams is a very important, critical part of the game. But I will say, in the special teams category of punting, we are in good hands. I will say that.
Ugh, ugh. But hey, I'm still upset over Saturday. And if I wasn't if I wasn't upset, would I be a fan?
Yeah, oh yeah. Okay, I'm gonna read this to you. If I told you we had 382 yards total yards to their 224 yards, and our passing was 211 to their 87, and our
I
rushing was 171 to their 137.
I
We
would
led them in all three major statistics on offense. Okay, now if I were to tell you we led all, if you never watched this game, and I said we led in total yards, we led in passing, we led in rushing, and there was one turnover each.
I
Would
would
you would have said we won the game, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I think everybody would have said, yeah, we won the game probably 38-13. Well, unfortunately, penalties negated that because here's my thing on Emory Jones. And Emory Jones cannot manage anything farther back than a 3rd and 5. And unfortunately, when you get a penalty, a false start penalty, that's going to put you back 5 yards. So if you got a 3rd and 4, which is manageable for Emory Jones, now you got a 3rd and 9. If you got a 3rd and 6, now you got a 3rd and 11. So these penalties are really affecting how Emory Jones and the play calling go, and that is what I think that Dan Mullen is not trusting.
I yeah, I agree with you. And by the way, I'm gonna have to go on a rant here soon. But
Go ahead, go ahead.
for guys, I know you're frustrated, but what the frick are you? Who? What? I'm really mad at the people who want Dan Mullen fired. What? What? Have you watched Gator football the last 10 years? I don't. I Have you watched Gator football and the rut we were stuck in the last 10 years? I know. I know. I remember the rut we were stuck in the last 10 years, and and I know we're all pissed, but I Dan's my coach until he isn't. So support support the
I
coach.
think I see where you're coming from, and when you look at the candidates that were for during the Dan Mullen hire, Dan Mullen was obviously the hire that everybody wanted. But when you look at the now, the here, and the now, and you're going into excuse me, you're in year 4, and your last 8 games, you're 3-5 in, and you're 1-2, you're 2-2 versus Kentucky, which you should be 4-0 versus Kentucky. You're 1-2 versus LSU.
One
Uh,
two
you
versus
you
one and
know
two versus
you're
Georgia.
you're 1-2 versus Georgia. So he's losing these critical games, and the LSU, that one should be a win. One of those should be a win.
I don't think LSU is as good as they were 2 years
Right.
ago.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, um, we should at least be a little better than this. And year four,
We should be
should,
4-1. We should at least be 4-1 right now instead of 3-2.
yeah, exactly. The reason why this loss hurts so bad is because when you look at the future of the games that are coming up, we have
You got
Vanderbilt at home, which is
LSU.
that's going to be our little warm up game, and then you got
If
LSU
you on the road and then
on the
Georgia,
road, yeah, on the road, and then you get the bye week, and then you got to go to Jacksonville and play
and then,
Georgia.
and then you
And
got
as
the
we've seen by this weekend, that Georgia defense is elite. That Georgia defense, they come to play.
we are.
They are
I
no
hate
joke.
to say it, but if we play the way we did Saturday, we are going to get
Yeah, we
fucking
are going to
buttered.
get stomped. We're going to get stomped. So we can't have a
And sorry
performance
for my
like
language.
we had versus Kentucky.
Sorry for dropping the up on there, buddy. But
So we got to be a lot better than what we were on Saturday, and I think we will because I think this is going to be a wake up call and a
I
reality check to the team.
I I think Emery and Zach Carter are gonna get. I think I think the way this loss is gonna wake up the team. I think this loss is gonna be like the Missouri loss in Dan's first year.
I would agree. You know how we came out after in South Carolina and kind of Felipe Franks played a whole lot better. Well, maybe we'll see better playing. Um, but again, some football players like to get a flow in the game and get more, take a hit or throw some passes or whatever the case may be to kind of get into the game. And so, one thing that I would really like to see Dan Mullen do better is if you're going to put Emery in for the whole drive. If you're going to put Anthony Richardson in, let him put him in for the whole entire drive. I'm not liking these. Bring him in here for a play, for a little conservative play at that. He had Anthony Richardson was 1 for 1, for 8 yards, so he didn't really see the field too much. And I'm not sure the reason why we didn't see him more with the way things were going. I'm in. There's so many questions that I
I'm
have
telling you
about
right
this.
now. If AR plays the last drive, I think we win the game.
Yeah, maybe I don't know what they're seeing in practice. I don't know what he sees. What he knows
We're
about
not we're
his
not at
mind.
practice, but I can tell you, Emery just isn't. I don't want to bash the guy because he's my dude,
He
but
he's a good player. He's a good player, and I'm not trying to put him down. I'm honestly not. But the critical mistakes, in critical moments, these are things that we've either got to get past or we got to put the next guy in. And we obviously see Anthony Richardson is very talented, very explosive. So if things aren't going well, maybe flip the shade and put AR in there and see what you get. I mean, you don't know unless you try. The old saying goes,
you
you'll
don't.
miss 100% of the shots that you don't try. So if you don't put them in the game, we'll never know. That's all I can really say about
Yeah,
that.
and I'm sorry guys, but we did not have a podcast. We did not have a contest this week because I was really busy. So there was no content. There was no.
There's no contest this week, so that's okay. We'll get one going with the Gator Gang. We'll have one posted. We'll actually have it posted tonight, and we might actually make it a double one for my group and Lucas's group. We will talk about that and discuss that and get that posted for y'all because I know y'all do like the contest.
I was just really busy because I had some homework to do and stuff, so I didn't have time to. I forgot to post it, so I'll try to do one for Vanderbilt.
Yes, absolutely. So Before we get off on here tonight, Lucas, is there any final thoughts that you want to talk about
I
before
just
we?
hope we come out and we. I just hope we come out all pissed off and ready to kick Vanderbilt's ass.
Absolutely. You know what? That's the kind of attitude that I want to see the Gators come out with on Saturday. We are a 39-point favorite, so we will see
I
if
don't
we can
think we're gonna
cover
score. I don't. I'm telling you right now. I don't think we're gonna cover that.
that. We will see. This is why we play the game. But as y'all always know, if you ain't
If
a
you ain't a
Gator,
Gator, you must be Gator bait.
there you go. Good night, y'all.